Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another contest entry. This time it's for everybody's good friend Steve over at All the World's a Stage. Steve is celebrating 250 subscribers and well deserved. Steve is a world-class kind of guy. He, has some of the best hair on YouTube. He's taken that title away from me, which I know I was crowned best hair in the vinyl community for many months. And then I cut my hair off, and Steve took the crown. Um, Steve is a connoisseur of all things t-shirts. He does graphic design, just a talent in his own right. He's recently joined myself, Glenn Kellaway, and Rich Strickler on a couple of live streams where he kind of jumps in to save the day and gifts us with his great humor and takes away the serious somber tone of the stream prior to his arrival. So Steve, thank you so much for bringing some light into our dark little videos that we do here. But anyway, Steve is pushing for something. He's not pushing for anything. He is just happy to have 250 subscribers and thought it would be a good idea to celebrate. So this contest is fairly simple. He just wants us to talk about our first concert. I don't know what. I was trying to say contest, went to concert. You know how it goes. He wants us to talk about our first concert. That's generally his when he is bombarding you with all the questions that he asks, the first thing that he says is, what's the first concert that you've ever attended? And then he, laughs at you and tells you that that's the wrong answer. So anyway, he he knows the answer to this, but the first concert I ever attended was Gordon Lightfoot. I believe it was 2009 at the Roanoke Civic Center, the Performing Arts Center, and he wants us to say how much the concert cost. I don't recall. It was actually a gift from my parents. They wanted to go. My dad's a huge Gordon Lightfoot fan. My mom is as well, and they thought I was, ready to see a world class musician like Gordon Lightfoot. So we got the tickets. Dad purchased them. I want to say something like, based on where we were sitting, I would guess probably $65 ish. You figure it's 2009, so ticket prices are what they were. It was the first row of the second section of seats in the orchestra section, and this venue holds about 2,500, 2,700 people. So it's a nice small venue. Dad and I actually just saw Gordon Lightfoot there last February, and I've seen a lot of people at this venue. I saw Jerry Seinfeld do stand up there. I saw Crosby, Stills, and Nash a few years after this first show. I saw John Prine there on one of his last tour dates before he passed away, unfortunately. Um, I know there's somebody I'm missing. Um, yeah, I've been there a few times to quite a few shows, and I'm actually going later this week to see another show, which will be a concert review. But anyway, went to go see Gordon Lightfoot. Knew a little bit about Gordon Lightfoot through mom and dad. They were, we had the greatest hits playing quite a bit around the supper table. So Carefree Highway, Christian Island, If You Could Read My Mind, Edmund Fitzgerald. Those were all songs that were played at the supper table. My dad used to be big in burning CDs off Napster, so he would put Gordon Lightfoot on different mixes that he would make for people. So I knew the voice of Gordon Lightfoot quite well. Didn't really know his deep catalog. So I remember going. I was excited to see a show, but I wasn't losing sleep over the excitement to go see Gordon Lightfoot. But we went, and mom and dad had a good friend there who they actually introduced to Gordon Lightfoot. He's probably about 10 years younger than mom and dad. And at one point, him and mom worked a summer camp job together. And Gordon Lightfoot was something that was brought up, and he got into Gordon Lightfoot. And ironically, this is the same fellow who, in my album, That Shaped Me series, he's the guy that loaned us the Traveling Wilburys box set that I talked about. So it was kind of a neat full circle, because it was about this time that I was getting into the Traveling Wilburys, and I remember telling him at the show that, you know, I've really enjoyed having the Traveling Wilburys to listen to. So I remember that specifically. Gordon Lightfoot came out. Again, at this point, Gordon Lightfoot's voice is fairly frail, as it has been now for, you know, the last 15 odd years or so. Great band. I know his bass player was the same one that was there when Dad and I saw him last year, who's been with him, I want to say, since the very early 70s. So he's kind of the musical director of the group, and he did a bunch of songs. One of the songs that stood out to me that I loved was the song Painter Passing Through. And I know Steve wanted to say, you know, what album he was touring, that the artist was touring. Gordon wasn't touring any album. He hadn't put out an album, I think, for about 5 or 6 years. So he was just touring his hits. And I remember Painter Passing Through just being a beautiful song, and I'd never heard it until that night. And Dad went home, and a couple days later, he burned a Napster disc of the set list. So, like, all the songs that Gordon Lightfoot played, Dad put it on a CD for us to listen to, which was really cool. A funny story about the concert, then I'll cut out here. Mom and Dad and I had tickets to go, and my grandparents, I believe, were on their way back from a vacation, and they called and asked, you know, if we were going to go to the show, and we said yeah, and they said, you know, we're thinking about going too. So we said, yeah, come on, there's still tickets. So we got there, and Grandma and Granddad got there shortly after we did. We already found our seats, and Grandma and Granddad essentially were upgraded to like second row seats for like the same price that we had paid, because they were trying to fill the front rows with some people, some empty seats that were either, you know, resold, or, you know, they just didn't sell those tickets. So that was always funny that Grandma and Granddad, you know, were that close for the same price. But anyway, Gordon Lightfoot was my introduction to a live concert. I love Gordon Lightfoot. I think he's just an incredible talent. Is he on the same pedestal as Dylan for me? No, really not. To me, it's not close, but I know a lot of people argue about that, and that's fine. I don't fault people that say Gordon Lightfoot is, you know, one of the top songwriters of all time. But anyway, that's my my spiel there. Steve, you know, all the best to you, and getting to, you know, the next phase of your YouTube channel with, you know, 300, 400, 500 subscribers. You know, one day we'll all be working for you. So y'all subscribe to Steve's channel. I'll have his contest video below. In the meantime, y'all be good, subscribe, take care, all that good stuff, comment, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.